Well, one thing that you said is that we might not know all the options. It's very easy to know your options out there, right? That's the
Exactly.
difference. The difference is that clients do have options and they do have easy access and knowledge to so much of those options. So if you want to keep a client, you have to think about what the clients need and what the client wants. Actually focus on your clients. Focus on what your clients need. Try to understand where the market is going, where the world is going, and try to always rethink your product. Go and
Eh,
think what is it that you really bring to the table. Don't sit and do stupid paperwork or fill up application or spend your time on things that are can be done by others. Bring
Awesome.
your unique essential to the table as a startup owner.
So, welcome to the Enhance AI Partners podcast, the show where we explore how leaders are scaling in fast changing industries through a mix of people, process, and pragmatic AI. Today, we're diving into a topic that touches every business with recurring customers: the human side of scaling, leadership, AI, and the subscription economy. My guest today is Moran Mizrahi, CEO of Rebillia, a subscription management platform redefining how companies think about customer growth. Instead of locking people into rigid plans, Rebillia helps businesses boost revenue and retention by focusing on flexibility and relationships. Moran brings sharp insights into the subscription economy, paired with a leadership style rooted in agility and action. Fewer meetings, more doing. I'm excited to unpack how she's building for the next wave of customer-centric subscriptions. Moran, thank you for hopping on. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Johan. I really appreciate you having me here today. I'm excited to be here and very happy to share my thoughts. Hopefully, this will go to many and be helpful for someone.
That is right. So, Moran, before we dive in into the theme, let's talk about Rebillia and your journey as a founder. So, give us the origin. What problem did you have to solve that led to, creating Rebillia?
So happy to be here. Moran Mizrahi, CEO and co-founder of Rebillia platform. We are a subscription management platform that taking end-to-end billing all the way from the top to how to build to how to make it way better and more matched to the client's need and the merchant needs. We are focusing on subscription that breaking all limitation, basically smart subscription that more match into 2025. And what brought me and us as a team to come up with Rebillia is our own frustration due to the lack of flexibility and really the inability of the current tools today, as well as the tools that we used to experience in the past. So we are, as a team, coming from the arena of retail and e-commerce, and we learned firsthand how hard it is to manage a client, to create LTV, to sustain a client, happy or not happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
While there's so much competition outside, what the cost of acquisition is so high, and that's where we came up with the thought of bringing really Rebillia to life, right? A subscription management platform that really allow to think of the client versus just of subscribing a client into a plan.
Mm-hmm. So, if I get that right, Rebillia is more about helping subscription companies retain their customers, and you're trying to help these companies retain their customers through your services, correct?
Correct. So what Rebillia is focusing on is really LTV and encourage subscription conversion. So
Mm-hmm.
while most subscription management platforms allowing the tools of subscription to their merchant, we are thinking not just of how to help our merchant to bring subscription and retention to life, but also how to do it correctly with today's world and think of their clients. So we actually providing tools and flexibility to our merchant with the full thought of how to help our merchant to maintain their clients. And I definitely can happy to set up an example and
Yeah.
explain you a bit more about how this is worked. But just to kind of explain the general thought, if you think about yourself when you go into any subscription plan, right? Any um, dog food, vitamins, cable TV, all of those, the first thing you will think of is how do I get out of it, right? Like you will start by churn, right? The first thing you will think of is where do I put a note that remind me, do I need it? Do I want to unsubscribe and my way out? Um, and the first thing that the merchant is thinking of is how do I bring a client? I pay a lot of money. How do I take this client and put him on subscription? But the gap is really in between, right? A client is going into a subscription plan. He will never be fully happy about that because there's not too much, there's not too little. If you think of those subscription plan for membership for gyms or for the cable TV or for anything that is more sophisticated, you never right there in the right spot where you want to be. You just, as a client, adjusting yourself to what the merchant thought will be probably the right fit for most of the people, right? So what Rebillia is allowing is a full flexibility and adjustability throughout the entire life cycle of the subscription for changes of anything that is related, right? So all the limitation of subscription, where we ship the product, what product the client will get, the address, how much of it, the timing, the users, everything is changeable. So if we think of, to set an example, we said dog food, right? So if we think of dog food as a good example, so you might be having two different dogs and they might need different size of food, different size or taste of, they want to maybe try different things. They might not want to be tweaked into one specific vitamin. Might want to change their vitamins from time to time, and you don't want to stick to one plan. So our plans allow you to set up plans that are matched for you all the way from the beginning throughout the entire life cycle of the subscription, allowing you different varieties, different changes, different quantity, different products that might be matched up front. So you might gonna choose a specific product coming to you every month for the next 3 months, and then following you to your summer house in New York with a different quantity that might be a better match. Your a family member could be a user. So there's endless example to how you can use it. But for the most part, the thought behind it is to allow merchant to really follow their client needs, follow and understand the on-demand generation, and basically take a lot more customer-centric approach. So that is kind of in a nutshell how we align our software to our merchant, and how we help our merchant to grow and sustain a client. Now, it might be not for everyone. A merchant must understand the urgent the need to have a customer-centric approach. I would assume, but I think that's where the world is going for. That's what the world is going for right now. And if you're not suit yourself as a merchant, whether if it's SaaS or an AI agent or an e-commerce to your client's need, you will not be in the head of the game. You will stay in the past.
Thank you for that, Moran. And was there any early product decision that you're glad you made early during the founding of Rebillia? And is there any product decision that you change?
Well, we known for not really. I guess that one big thing that we did is we put into the newest version of Rebillia a full R&D effort and brought a really super robust top of the line solution
Mm-hmm.
that's matched to really anyone, but mainly suited to enterprise that right now want to go real quickly and change, as well as to medium businesses. However, if I can give other entrepreneurs a better advice, I would say start with an MPV, right?
Mm-hmm.
Start more light and small and grow with the product. So we're not sorry for doing that, right? But we got into a full robust solution
Mm-hmm.
uh, in really quickly, and it might be something that I would change. I might go along the way and try smaller features, limitation of abilities, but we really back in the days thought, let's bring a blue ocean. Let's do something that no one tried before, and
Mm-hmm.
bring change, which end up pretty well with the AI. With AI agent popping up everywhere, right? I think we discussed a little bit before that everyone right now they can be an AI agent.
Yeah.
However, when they grow, they find themselves with less of abilities to build on a flexible way.
Exactly.
So, and the AI agents really do need that flexibility to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So, luckily, we have thought of that up front. We have realized how the whole world is going to change with AI and data and understanding climate. So we kind of brought this concept back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually it's been the right thing at the right time. So very glad we did this. But I would say do not try it at home.
Thank you. And then, what was the biggest challenge for Rebillia, other than the point that you just mentioned that you started with a really broad product? So, other than that, what would be the biggest challenge for Rebillia for this year, next year? And do you have any big 2026 goals?
So I think that our biggest challenge is because we do have such a robust software that bring in some revolution solution to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the ones that we have very nice traction from enterprise clients, and the sales cycle is long, right? Taking over each and every enterprise is each enterprise is its own world, right? So
Mm-hmm.
while it seems like a rich people problem, it is a problem. So this is kind of a small obstacle that we're trying to overcome. However,
Mm-hmm.
we are right now aiming towards mid-sized companies as well. So this is what
Awesome.
we really want to succeed with in 2026. So as of right now, we are running from all the way from SMBs to
Mm-hmm.
really right there to the enterprise level, and we really want to aim more towards the mid-size. So if you are a mid-sized company that you're not, you know where to reach us if you need a really good subscription management software.
Awesome. And I'll make sure to leave Rebillia's website and information at the end of the podcast so everyone knows. And thank you for sharing. That was fascinating to learn how Rebillia has come to where it's at now. Now, building something like this is never just about the product, it's also about the people behind it. So let's zoom in into your leadership journey. So, what's a leadership misconception you had to unlearn?
So first of all, I would say that you're absolutely right. It's never about the product. I'm learning that from day to day, right? Talking with investors that never really ask about the actual product, and learning that with clients as well,
Mm-hmm.
that really care for a lot more than just the product. I do think that it's important to have a good product. I'm very glad that we have a product that kind of have a wonderful product market fit and the market responding really well. With that being said, I really think that our big essence here is our team. We have a great team with a very, I agile and startup-y set of mind, and we had to kind of build a culture that is teaching us as a team, first of all, to work very tight. Second of all, to manage it kind of like a startup set of mind that match to work really quickly, however, with enterprises and corporations as well. So there is some learning curve here, and I think what we believe in is really go and be hands-on. I personally really believe in hands-on management. So I'm less about, and I think we talked about it a little bit, but I'm less about heavy meetings and taking things into the depth and more about just go do it, give it a try, and see what we can do better when it's come to team and decision making. I also really believe in my team. By the way, all the way from young entrepreneurs that started with us back in the days to some even interns that we have in the company that actually start as interns and stayed with us because
Awesome.
we're really picking people that understand that they're taking a lot on their shoulders and that really thinking highly. No one here just wearing one hat and coming to work and do his job. Everybody is all about what else I can do. And of course, in a small environment like ours, you have to be very cooperative. You have to work together. You have to work as a team with no layers. There's no I'm management and you are and that. There's more about take responsibility, tell us how you do this best, and take it all the way from A to Z. And we will be the team to support you. So we work in a lot with each other. So we kind of have a culture, I would say, of a family. But putting family aside to business, right? We are operating as a family in all essence, right? Having dinners together, but also have arguments, saying things, talking very directly with each other. There's no sugarcoating, there's no time for it as well. And we are straightforward coming together to solve problems and think what will be the next step, how we can not just take what we have on the table, but together as a team, who is actually taking an action for execution of something that's going on, and who is right now have a little bit less execution on his hand and can help. With that being said, thinking of the next level. We are also really lucky to have great management team, great partners, great early back in the days investors that supporting us on the day to day, as well as great people that give good advice, mentoring, and board of advisory. So in the way we operate, we are surrounding ourselves just with smart people that very happy to bring some expertise, not necessarily in one area or another, just smart people in general that's willing and able to come in and take a part. And I think what put us together is the enthusiasm that we have around what we build here. So I think there's that when we put in someone into the team, we're less thinking about this is what we're looking for, this is what that person can be a match. We more look to talk and understand and be surrounded by smart people that have some experience and kind of shown what we have, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and trying to verify where do you see yourself helping out? How can you take us to the next step? And I think that's bringing a lot of people that involved to think further. And you would be surprised how some of the people just happy to engage and mentor all the way from the top and help our partnership team, as well as what smart 17 and 16 years old interns they have that are willing to roll up their sleeves and learn. Including, by the way, we at least once a year trying to profile in our program people with unique skills, though with disability, and that program is something that I'm very proud of. because I
That's
think they
awesome.
brought me a lot of successful out of the box solution that we have right now. So this is kind of how we operate. Um, you mentioned a unique management. It's not like I have a choice. It's not like we have time to go to meetings and talk
Hmm.
about things and put manuals and processes together. So we just work as a team and create this all alongside with each other, brainstorming.
Awesome. So from what I can hear is, everyone has a big role in Rebillia. Uh,
Everybody has a huge role from day one. You wouldn't believe it. Yeah.
so, and something else that you mentioned that I thought was interesting, and it was that you mentioned that everyone's excited about Rebillia, the product that you're building, and what you're aiming for, and that I think that's what gives everyone a little push to go through the day to day, learn what you don't know, mentor when you need that, or provide some help whenever there's a chance. So I know this is a very agile type of model. So how do you keep alignment and velocity um, in your team if you're not doing that many meetings? It's more hands-on, and everyone has a big role. So how do you keep everyone aligned, and how do you keep everyone agile?
Well, I guess while there's not a lot of actual meetings, there hands-on mean being together, talk about things, brainstorm. There's no one within the unity of the company that
Mm-hmm.
only knows what they know, or they actually supervise in their area. So our development team well know what is it that uh, we need within the business. So
Mm-hmm.
we given and brainstorm them with what we know about business, and we take the time to learn about what they have to say, and the people that handle in customer success, they also try to understand a little bit about more about the technology needs or the business needs or even the legal needs. We just sharing thoughts, we brainstorming, we talking about everything while we actually doing the actual work. So while there is no long meeting to discuss bureaucracy, we do have a very tight interaction.
Mm-hmm.
I would also say that some of our team are external, but I think that they do feel very internal. We sit in with them daily. We don't see them as some outside contractors, but actually each and every person here is feel belong and feel is taking a bigger part. And I think that one thing that motivate them is that everybody is discussing and running and doing, and I think that they feel that if you're not gonna chase other people to be in those discussions, to be part, to take part, then you will left out and you will have less responsibility. So, um, so this is, and I'm very grateful for my team that always happy to learn that really there's more that we don't know than what it is that we do know, but we learn from each other, and really every day I feel that I'm learning new things from each and every person here in the company. So this is really what's put us together, and that's also, of course, have to come with a lot of asks, right? You have to know anything you don't know. I don't necessarily right away go to research it. I first of all ask
Mm-hmm.
within my team, anyone had experience with that, anyone had
I see.
any at all vision or like to try something new that they never tried before and learn from it. So I think that's what brings us together and make our team very cooperative and willing to collaborate.
Awesome. So from what I can hear is that there's a lot of trust within the team. Um, and along those lines, can you share a moment where your leadership agility directly saved the deal, a customer, or a product launch?
I mean, let's put it this way. I can share plenty of moments that both have happened, right? That we've been over agile or over slow to respond because we are a startup, right? So there's, however, I think that our agility, not just from a perspective of answering and tweaking and building on top of things, I think that our software agility and really our software built to think about the future on a regular basis and built by people that suffer from the pain points throughout there. So as we said, we all came from the arena of e-commerce, retail, consumer goods. Before that even become before e-commerce even becomes such a big thing, really help us to come along and bring a software that is answering the client need. If that's answering your question, I think
Yeah,
it's
I mean, it did. And then any advice to women building in infra, commerce, startup? So any advice to any woman out there listening?
well. I will tell you that I always love to the thought of a woman giving advice to another woman, but the bottom line is that I only think women can be successful if they don't. Is that when it doesn't really matter if you're woman or man or however you think of it. With that being said, I would say that you need to really keep good uh, life work balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And having a startup mean really no sleep, no time basically to anything, and it can. I mean, if time will allow, you can work on your startup for 25 hours a day, right? So I just think that for me, I'm
Mm-hmm.
cutting corners on the things that are not important. Not that I'm saying that only women do laundry and house chores, right? Everybody does nowadays, but I'm cutting on those, and I put in more time towards actually quality time with my family. I'm
I
not
see.
necessarily insisting on making a meal. I'm more insisting on sitting and having a meal with my family. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily insisting of having the perfect house and host the best dinners. I'm more insisting of having a lot of friends and family around us.
Mm-hmm.
That will get a plastic plate most likely and food from prepared from Trader Joe. So I'm really cutting corners of the things that maybe biasly a lot of women think that are important. That's just me, and that's not necessarily an advice that will work for everyone. Um, but I'm trying to really think what is essential from the inside out for me and from my family and for my friends,
Mm-hmm.
which is a real relationship over over really things that what over the things that make us think
Don't really
of
matter.
what would someone think if you see my house in this way, or you
Mm-hmm.
see that I have not put the dinner in the most wonderful, beautiful dish and set up a beautiful table. I'm just really cutting corners and trying to make the little bit of time that I have to spare with my family to be quality time.
Quality time.
And the rest of it, I am devoted into my startup.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, I do get a lot of help, and I'm trying to think what is it that I'm not happy doing, and what is it that I'm not so good in doing, and who else can help me with that. So I do have a business assistant, a personal assistant to handle a lot of my day to day and it's really take a lot away from my shoulders, allowing me more to focus on what I'm good at, and what the business really needs me to do. So I'm really doing way less paperwork, way less filling up information, necessarily answering each and every email myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, versus having someone creating a lot of templates and going really right to the point with each email I get, with each partner I'm trying to talk with, and saving me a lot of work. And for that, of course, I needed a lot of collaboration. I need someone that can understand my set of mind. And again, nothing is to perfection, but really overall allow me to run faster and think about the next step.
Awesome. So I think there's some similarities on how you focus on your family and your business. Because I heard some similarities on both ways. You try to have quality time with your family. Having some quality time, having a dinner instead of cooking and cleaning, and then on the business side, you are trying to have quality time, but in the business side of things, you're trying to have a meeting where you're hands on, you're trying to solve a problem, and no meeting where you're trying to, upsell or trying to pretend or sugarcoat, like you mentioned before. So for both your family and your business, you're trying to cut down on what's not really important and then just focus your time into what you consider quality time for both your business and your family. So that's a pretty good insight.
Focus on the 20% that bring the 80%. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest problem with that is sometimes to evaluate what is those really 20% out and what's really important, what's really going to bring you to the next step versus what will be pretended to be or nearby.
Awesome. So now you've shared how you lead your team with agility and clarity. So let's connect that with the tech side of things. One of the hottest conversations in subscription right now is around AI. Some say it's a hype, others see it as a real transformation. So, where does AI actually move the needle in subscriptions today? In
I think,
acquisition, expansion, retention?
sorry, I didn't let you finish the question.
No, no worries.
Okay. So I have a hard time. I think at this point I will be really surprised if someone think that AI is an hype. I think after you learn just a little bit about how I'm thinking, you probably know that I'm the kind of person that's been waiting for AI to be reading all my life. I just born to be in this moment. Like literally, some days I think if I would have find out, like if I would be in my 70 or 80 years old and just then AI would come into my life, I would be very upset. I wish I had those tools right 10, 20, 30 years ago. So definitely don't think it's an I. Don't know to say, right? People say AI just could be really great and could be really a disaster as well. I cannot have control over that. All I have to say is that it is what it is. It's here to stay, and you better get used to it. In every evolution, there's death, so
Mm-hmm.
you have to complete with what they've left behind and move on to the next step. Because whether if you like AI or don't like AI, or really think this is not natural for the world to go that route, you better adjust because otherwise you're not going to be in the game. So of course that I'm thinking subscription era will move with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for some, AI just kind of killed their business, right? And we see their businesses every day that kind of changed or either change or die kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and luckily, we have thought about this era long time ago, and whether if we knew all the way that is how things will look like or not, we end up with the right product, right? Because our product, so if we take this to the AI world right now, we're not just using AI towards subscription, we are serving AI agents, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because our software allow us to um, help better monetization and flexibility of tokenization plus usage-based one plus one-time fix, so we can kind of do it all and allow um, all methods. And on the other end, I think that our software also try to understand the client's need and follow the client's needs, which is very much needed, and that's what AI is all about eventually. Learning the data, understand, and provide better answers. So definitely this all arena is changing with AI as well. And I'm happy to say that I think currently we have a product that matches this role. But however, we will have to strive to improve all the time, and the the better you're ready for the next thing to come, the better you are.
Exactly. That's what we're all trying to do. So, with AI, do you think there is any hype into AI? And if there is, what's the most hypey AI claim out there? And on the other end, what is a feature of AI that people are not giving that much attention to currently?
Well, I think that overall it's new to all of us. So it's very hard for me to say what's the hype. I just think that we're learning new things every day and people thinking of new things every day. So I not necessarily have one straightforward answer to it, because what's good for me not might be the right thing for you, right? But we all right now processing both on the personal and on the business different AI tools. And the whole, I guess, hype is all about, I think every business and personal going through the thinking right now, okay, this is what I like to do. How can I do it better with AI? So they might um, now have to kind of explore, should I do it with ChatGPT, or is there already made up tool? Just to give an example, right? If I need to give my, and I will take it totally away from the business and the client and the sales world to finance, something very boring that entrepreneurs need to do, right? So I can take my finance towards ChatGPT and bring all those numbers, or I can go and search for the right tool that actually have it all and someone already put together. But eventually, it all kind of an hype that's gonna turn into the right things we try and the wrong things, I guess, we try and find out that we're not yet. I really do think, though, that presentations is something that is not quite there. The full, I mean, there's plenty of tools that making presentations for you, which is nice to have. There's not yet something that I find, and I not might be mistaken, that really tweak a full presentation with the right images. Um, all I would, and I will finish to talk about AI by saying that my friends used to have a joke on my behalf, right? That I need a personal assistant that reads my mind. That I'm like running so fast sometimes that someone needs to read my mind, and that's what I need to look for. And I actually took upon it, and when I'm interviewing for a role, I'm like, you will have to be a mind reader. But I finally find AI as my best friend that with just a few small hints really read my mind. So I'm still checking the method, and yeah, that's the only thing that is not doing yet, right? Reading your mind in full. So, but one day.
Oh, I think we're getting close to that. And let's see, in your business, how do you decide what to automate versus, keep human?
Anything at all that I have not automated, that's mean I didn't get to it. I'm a big believer in automation. With that being said, automation could be sometimes hard to pursue without the right tools, and then you really want to explore the right tools and take the time to explore the right tools. So I am all about automation. The only thing that I think that should stay with the human touch is relationships. So I'm not about um, writing a perfect email with no automation. I'm about taking a meeting and talk about things and get to know a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem of automating a quote, a partnership agreement, anything of that nature can go on automation. And not necessarily that I have each and every automation that I can dream of, but that's definitely where I thrive. With that being said, to get to know your partner, to talk with people, to form a relationship, that is something that I will never replace. Um, Replace on whether if it's me personally having this human touch or my team bringing their human touch or we keeping the human touch with each other, right? For me, a conversation in the cafeteria over coffee is worth more than pursuing 20,000 emails on automation. That's
Mm-hmm.
where really, and actually those cliches kind of really working for us, where we're not putting a lot of time or effort in towards marketing or sales. We do put time and efforts to volunteer in the community, going to networking events, where we can, right? We don't have probably the resources to do all that as much as the uh, bigger corporations,
Mm-hmm.
but we really comparing to our size, we put a lot of efforts into it, and I think that most of my valuable business coming from investing into human touch. That for the most part I have done towards volunteering or uh, participating into a panel or giving someone a good advice or just I'm actually managing a tech group here in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and I did it um, for the sake of karma, right? To kind of keep good karma, helping each other, asking questions, and I think a lot of it um, really bring in a lot more um, income. I'm not talking about financial income. The outcome of this group
Mm-hmm.
has been really helpful because I meet people. They are introducing me to other people. I introduce a lot of people to people every time I'm talking with an investor that is um, not necessarily gonna be the right person for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm always trying to to form some relationship and see what else I can do to help him versus another person. So um, this is kind of the way of thinking. So,
Awesome.
but everything else definitely can go on automation.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of time saved when we talk about automation. And let's see, one last question there. What are your must watch signals for churn risk?
Um, when a client is frustrated and he
Mm-hmm.
shows frustration, is kind of not the biggest churn sign. When your client is quiet and
Uh-huh.
not showing no signs at all, that is the biggest sign, I believe. That's where it would be a good time to pursue a conversation, even push for one, make sure that the relationship and, as I said, the human touch is there.
Hmm. I thought you were going to say something else that kind of caught me off guard, but it makes sense. Because if I'm frustrated, I'm still using the product, and there's some things I would want to improve. But if I'm not, showing up on your side at all, then you, you, I'm already thinking about, how can I save money? What subscriptions am I not using? And then, that's how I would approach it. So, I mean, that's a very interesting take on, what's the biggest or must watch signals for churn.
I think that as a company, we
Mm-hmm.
are in that nature from the inside out, right? So all the way from our software that always think and ask more questions and allow the clients to make changes and and adjusting towards the client need, as
Mm-hmm.
mentioned. We are also thinking it internally, and I have not thought about it, but actually, it's funny because it is the set of mind as well as the software built this way. So I guess that's kind of where you see the product aligned with management set of mind, I guess.
And I mean, thank you for sharing that. And that's a really interesting take on AI and subscription. Now let's talk about the subscription economy itself, how it's shifting customer expectations, regulation. So looking ahead, how do you see this space evolving? You know, the subscription space.
So, and to be brutally honest, I
Mm-hmm.
guess I think that in the last 2 years we really see a big shift where merchant they all like to be on subscription, right? They all like to align subscription. Everyone out there wanna bring some subscription abilities to their clients to create LTV. And I
Mm-hmm.
think I mentioned before on the other end, the client really have a different set of mind right now that is more, as you mentioned, on demand. They want what they want now. Clients now they're willing to pay more to have what they want at this second, right?
Yeah.
All the way from getting something to Amazon within the next, few hours to having deliveries. And this is in a way, so the client set of mind is in a way an anti-subscription set of mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the trend is for businesses to go and allow subscription and for the client to really be more on demand and to stay under flexibilities. And I think that is the problem that we are trying to solve. We really do see the change, and
Mm-hmm.
that is exactly the pain point that we're running after and trying to bring those two entities together where a client can still be on subscription, can still stay loyal, but also enjoy the full offering of the merchant. By the way, one of our great features is that our software also allow partnership. So
Nice.
for a merchant um, number A, so merchant number A can align with merchant number B,
Mm-hmm.
provide more subscription options for their clients. So the
Awesome.
abilities are endless, and the goal eventually is to always understand through AI your
Mm-hmm.
client's set of mind, understand the client's need, and always be changing. So instead of just setting up on some very rigid subscription plan, to more set up on a very flexible subscription ability that allow the client to always keep exploring.
I see.
I'm so sorry about that.
No worries.
Um, so overall, this is where we see the trend, and that's the trend that we're following.
Awesome. And then in the subscription economy, what's one metric you'd retire and one that you'd elevate or give it more importance?
I'm very sorry about it. Do you want to just re-ask this question and add it in?
Yeah. What's one metric that you would retire, and then one you'd elevate?
What do you mean by that?
With the metrics, what I mean is like I know LTV. That is it from my side. I think that's one of the most important metrics. But let's say if for subscription companies that what's a metric that you think is not as important as people think, and that could be like like you said, making rigid monthly contracts or yearly contracts versus doing a flexible plan. Um, and I think a lot of people are, or a lot of companies are short minded in the sense where what they see is, what can I get from that client? I'll be able to sign that client for 1 year. That means lifetime value will be X amount, and that's how they run their business. But from your experience, from how Rebillia is building, what is one of those metrics that you would give less importance, and what's one of the metrics that you would put more emphasis on, or that has more
I
weight?
think that eventually LTV
Mm.
is a very tricky thing to follow, right? A stable LTV is something that is very tricky, and I think that falling into that metrics could be a way to kill your business in a way, because then you create some dependency, and in a way you break in the engagement after the conversion. So once you sign the client third subscription, the way of thinking, oh, this client will bring me, even not for a year, right, every year for the next so and so time, probably 3 or 4 years, so and so um, amount of money,
Mm.
is something that merchants should avoid, and they more need to think of how to make a more flexible LTV, as mentioned, following the client needs, and understand the merchant or the client better, and make it as flexible and fluctuate as possible. Because I think we talked about it just for a little bit, of how a client that is in silence, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear from him, he doesn't ask any question, there's no change in his account, how that is actually a huge sign of a problem and a huge sign of a turn. It's just a matter of time till he feel that he's under a rigid plan, get bored, find something better, and will move on. So I think really flat LTV is something that is a metrics that is important. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
wants LTV, I don't blame them. But taking it as is, you need to take it with a grain of salt, and really think further the information and dig into better data of what kind of more general engagement and consistent engagement you have with your client after you have a study LTV.
Awesome. So it would be like a flexible LTV, because you're not taking importance from that. You're not so rigid onto focusing on only the LTV. But I think you mentioned engagement. So engagement and a flexible LTV would be like the most important metrics, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. And
Exactly.
then keeping in line into the LTV, if you had to increase LTV without raising prices, what's step one?
Without raising prices, that I would add more product towards the plan, right? Or give more abilities, or sometimes maybe even for the long run,
Mm-hmm.
allow the client to pick and choose what they want. And sometimes that even mean to reduce pricing, or
Mm-hmm.
to allow to suspend plan, allow to come back to it,
Nice.
bring more offering that might be even cheaper, allow better. So you probably know how it feel like to be on subscription,
Mm-hmm.
and then the company come up with a better price, and because you already been a client, you lose in this price. And every client out there always think about how fair that is. And the moment you see something like that happen as a client, you will think that's not that's not correct. The fact that if the company reduce pricing, then the fact that I've been a client for 3 years doesn't mean I need to enjoy them. So I think that is the future. The future is really to keep your client happy, because the client now have choices,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure you equip to the client needs all the time.
So a customer-centric approach.
Exactly. So it might be that your way for stability will say, we have reduced the price for every new client for the next uh, 3 months. Here is a 3 months since you've been a client with us. That will keep your client happy as long as you keep your subscription for another so and so. So kind of thinking out of the box and thinking how to maintain the client and not how to plan the client.
So you're more of a like a long run type of game instead of trying to get as much as I can from the client in as short a time as possible. So it's
I
more like
mean,
a
that's what subscription should be all about. It's
yeah.
just the tweaking of technology and the limitation of technology
Hmm.
brought us to those rigid plans that taught us as customers to get used to it and taught us as merchant to use. However, the world is changing, and that's what we're trying to bring with us.
Yeah, and I think something you mentioned that's important now. It's we have a lot of options now in any of the subscriptions that we use. There's a lot of options, so maybe we don't know all the options, but definitely, you know, having keeping a customer happy is important because of the amount of options that we can find out there.
Well, one thing that you said is that we might not know all the options. It's very easy to know your options out there, right? That's the difference.
Exactly.
The difference is that clients do have options and they do have easy access and knowledge to so much of those options. So if you want to keep a client, you have to think about what the clients need and what the client wants.
Awesome. That does paint a bold picture of where things are going. So thank you for sharing. And to wrap it up with some energy, we'll do like a quick fire round. These are short questions, rapid answers. We'll do five if you're okay with that, and then we'll go ahead and do the closing remarks.
Let's try it.
All right. So, overrated in subscriptions today.
Sorry, I guess I wasn't as. If you want to get this and start, do you want to give me those 5 questions so I can think of something real quick and then we
Yeah,
can.
yeah. Let's do that. So the first one would be something that's overrated in subscriptions today. Underrated in the subscription economy today. One, do this tomorrow churn tactic. Tool you can't live without. And a leadership book or podcast that you gift or recommend the most.
Okay, I will have to think about those for a second. I don't know that I can.
No worries, no worries.
From
We can take your time.
as easy. So the first one was overrated in subscription today, underrated in subscription today. Uh,
One, do this tomorrow churn tactic. So as a subscription business, what is something that if me internally I say I'll do that tomorrow, that could potentially churn my client? What's that? Yeah, a tool you can't live without. That can be for anything. Could be Spotify, ChatGPT, Netflix, you name it. And then leadership book or podcast that you like, recommend, that you've read in the past, etc.
okay, I need to think of a podcast that I can think of. Or maybe you can just skip the last one because I really don't have something in specific that I want to
Okay.
kind of. Okay, so I'm ready.
All right, so let's get started with the quick fire round. So we'll do the first one. So we'll go with what is overrated in the subscription economy today.
The pause and skip button. Kind of, kind of stupid to think that your client just want to pause and run after it and think when he's unpausing, etc.
That's a good one. An underrated in the subscription economy today.
The fact that the client likes to cancel and then you remember to send him an email begging him to stay.
One, do this tomorrow churn tactic.
Go and connect with your client
And
while he's still happy.
and the tool that you can't live without.
A tool, ChatGPT and Grok.
Awesome. So I love those takes. And before we close, I'll do a couple more questions. They're more broad. So let's start with what advice would you give leaders navigating scaling challenges today?
Um, I would say that actually focus on your clients, focus on what your clients need, try to understand where the market is going, where the world is going, and try to always rethink your product.
Beautiful. One prediction for subscription in the next 24 months.
That it's gonna really grow with AI and with AI kind of set of mind.
Beautiful. And then one piece of advice for leaders like yourself scaling or trying to scale a business with small or lean teams, because it might not be small, but they might be lean.
Don't do things yourself that cheaper labor can do for you.
Awesome.
Go and
Eh,
think what is it that you really bring to the table. Don't sit and do stupid paperwork or fill up application or spend your times on things that are can be done by others. Bring
Awesome.
your unique essential to the table as a startup owner.
Thank you. And then where can folks follow you and Rebillia? Where can they find you?
So we are www.rebillia.com, Rebillia, just like rebuild, yeah. I'm as well on LinkedIn, very happy to connect. So my name is probably there, Moran Mizrahi. Rebillia, you will find it easily. Uh, and our team is very engaging on LinkedIn as well. So all of us very
Beautiful.
happy to connect.
Awesome. So, Moran, I thank you for your time again. This has been a powerful conversation, not just about AI and subscriptions, but about leadership and practice. Your perspective on building flexible, customer-centric models is something our audience can, take straight back to their teams. For everyone listening, head over to rebillia.com. It's rebillia.com and follow Moran on LinkedIn. We'll link both in the show notes. And to our community, if you're scaling a subscription business and wrestling with churn, retention, or lifetime value, these are exactly the kinds of conversations we'll keep unpacking here. So, Moran, thank you again for joining us, and I can't wait to see where you and your team take Rebillia next.
Thank you, Jan. I really appreciate your time and having you today. It was fun.
Thank you, man. Bye bye.